Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Jeff.
And this week, we're doing something extra special. Really special, actually. We are on episode number of the momentous occasion. People have been waiting for this. Episode number 249. It is a big milestone for us. It's
People
huge.
have been like, when is 249 coming? That's my
Saying
favorite number.
I know, and they've been really specific about it. And I'm like, okay, I get it. That is something universally celebrated by any podcast when they hit 249. And so we thought we should do the same. And what we did is what we always do every quarter. We let our beautiful patrons choose a movie for us. And okay, I'll be realistic now. We actually were having them choose for our 250th episode. And the poll came down to 2 movies. Should I say the other one now? No, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't.
Find out at the end of the episode what it is.
It came up to 2 movies, and technically this movie won, but it was a decision by 1 vote. And so we decided we didn't really like the movie we had chosen for 249 anyway, not that much, at least for me. So why not do both of the 2 movies that were the final 2? Okay, why not do both? So because it won, we are doing Weapons 2025 first. And then we will be doing the runner-up next week to our 250th. But we want to let you know that the fanfare is equally high for 249 and 250. And so they're equal in the eyes of the Lord and in the eyes of Spooky Tuesday. So don't get it twisted.
Since we are the Lord of this podcast, we make the rules.
In the eyes of the Lord, aka these eyes.
They don't care about 250. Secretly they wanted it to be 249, I think.
That's like, I was picking up the vibe in the Discord,
Yeah, they just really wanted us to do Weapons, and we said, and I bet they don't even want us to wait. Let's cancel all of our plans, and let's put this on the schedule ASAP.
Yeah, and I'm really, really glad that we're doing this movie, because this has just been the biggest shock of my life, because guess who didn't give a shit about Weapons at all? Me. I didn't care. I don't know why. Everyone in the Discord, so fucking hyped. They're like, wow, it's going to be great, blah, blah, blah.
They're voting for it. They're voting for this movie.
Well, even before the vote was even a vote, people were talking about it. They're like, I'm so excited, blah, 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 blah.
One of my most highly anticipated movies of this year.
Quote Miranda. like literally... Everybody was so hyped. And I was like, I don't get it, but I haven't watched any of the trailers. I think I avoided watching one because we were going to maybe do a trailer reaction for it. So I didn't watch any of the trailers. And then I only saw a trailer for it this week on Tuesday because I used all 4 of my AMC A-list movies this week, bitch. And it played before Superman. And I was like, oh, that looks actually really cool. I'm super excited about it. But I don't know how to read. And so the words that were in it that might have led me to be actually hype, I did not read. So it was not until the end of me seeing this movie, which I saw it at 2:17 p.m. on Thursday. So the very first opportunity you could see it, and the 2:17 was very fun, and I did not get it until 2 days later anyway, but I get it now. It wasn't until the movie was over that I realized that it was written and directed by Zach Cregger, aka the guy who did Barbarian. I had no idea leading up to this movie, and if I had known that, I would have been hyped. This would have also been my most anticipated horror movie of the year, but I was left completely naive. I was just ignorant. And it was a beautiful, wonderful surprise. I was like, oh, that's why it was fucking hilarious. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't remember if I liked Barbarian or not.
I think I like Barbarian.
And I'll let you know.
I feel like we all... Really?
You gave it Sydney gave it a 3.5. I gave it a 4.5, and you gave it a 5. So
I definitely liked it a lot
Barbarian.
less.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the vibe of Barbarian, But this one I really like, so it made up
Oh my
for it.
God.
And I will say, Justin Long,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it.
like,
Yeah, Justin Long.
Yeah, that's why he's in it, because of Barbarian.
but when I tell you, I audibly screamed Justin Long in the theater.
He loves to pop
Dude.
up for a quick little cameo, I guess.
Wait,
That's
okay, I
my
want to.
friend. I want to come hang out with my friend for one day on set, and I'm just gonna be a fuck ass husband.
It was perfect casting. Okay, I'm gonna really quickly read the IMDb logline before we get too far away from it, but here we go. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. And the thing with this movie is it has such like a serious like concept, like the loss of like a huge group of children, like little kids. It's really like serious stuff. Like any horror with like kids can be extra grating. And I think that they, unlike Bring Her Back, they like take you to like make it so funny that it's palatable to like have these horrible things like happening to children. But when I tell you, I watched this at 2:17 on Thursday, and it was the greatest crowd of my life. Completely sold out, became best friends without actually talking to him, to the man watching it, also alone beside me. We were like, we didn't really talk, but we were like
Actually
being
connected.
like, ho
Yeah.
ho! Like I really felt connected to him, and then we did talk afterwards, and he was an absolute doll, so that was really nice. But like everyone was laughing, everyone was screaming. It was like a riotous experience. And then on Friday, I saw it at 1:15 or no, 1:25. What the fuck is wrong with the 1:25 crowd on Friday? Bitches didn't get it. It was crazy. People were giggling a little bit, but they were like too scared to laugh. And I was like, what is your experience of this movie if you don't think that it's funny? Like it's so obvious that that is the intent, but they were like too scared to be laughing at like a horrible situation or something. It was honestly insane. And I talked to the guys next to me afterward. I was like, what was wrong with these people? Like, and they're like, we thought it was funny. Don't worry. And I was like, thank God. I couldn't tell because you weren't laughing as hard as me. Anyway.
It's kind of weird because I didn't hear you guys laugh at all, but at least I know you found it funny.
I
Okay.
heard a couple of giggles, but like, isn't that crazy? Like, what was
Yeah.
your guys' theater experience?
The 6:20 p.m. on a Friday was good. It was very
Good.
involved. Somebody at one point made an out loud exclamation, then everybody laughed at it. Blah blah blah.
Yes.
Like it was an involved crowd.
Oh, the
That's so funny.
9:15 p.m. on Friday crowd was incredible. Like
Good.
everybody, like there was like, oh girl, like everybody was like gasping and
Yes.
like making noise, and everybody was like dying laughing. I once again screamed, Justin Long.
That's so funny. The only like outlandish thing that happened during my 1:15 on Friday screening was that somebody accidentally played out loud from Wicked like in the middle of the movie, and that was
It's like
really
their
funny.
ringtone.
Yeah, that was hilarious, but like I don't know. I was like, did everybody sitting in the theater with me right now also see it yesterday at 2:17 p.m. and so they know what's coming and so they're not reacting? Because like I didn't like react hardly at all the second time I saw it because it was so fresh. But like
Yeah.
it was just bizarre, and I feel bad for anyone who went into this movie and couldn't experience joy.
It's good with the fun crowd for sure. And I mean, it makes complete sense that the 2:17 Thursday first screening is like the people who are like pumped
Yes.
for weapons. They're like seated,
They
they've
took
been
work
seated
off.
in the theater for like a week. And then the 1:25 on Friday is like people who are like, I've got a free afternoon. I guess I'll go to the movies. You know what I mean?
Fridays.
Like, yeah, it makes sense. I will say when I was looking at screenings last night, so many of them were fucking packed.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to be one person alone who could just like scam one seat by itself. I didn't need to be like, we're two together for me and my friend. So that definitely helped. But yeah, there were a lot of them packed, and I saw a TikTok from somebody who went to see it at the Century City AMC, and they had some sort of pipe burst over there, so they like evacuated the whole theater basically, and everybody had to leave, and this couple was like, okay, like, how do we get to the Grove? If we get to the Grove right now, like, we can make it in time,
Oh,
but it'll be like an hour
no.
into their screening, and that'll be like where we left off, and then we can get in, and we won't have to rewatch anything. We'll just like get there right at the right time. And
Oh,
they
that
were
would
really trying to
suck
be like,
to
how do,
have
how do we
the
watch the end
momentum
of Weapons?
ruined.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That would be
man. Yeah.
miserable.
Well,
But
I
it's so
mean,
funny.
I do get it in a way for why people might not anticipate it being a funny movie because like again like I said the topic is very dark and sinister and also the marketing, at least the trailer that I saw was not a single lick of humor in it, you know. It was just like this serious thing, like all these children disappeared, 17 children disappeared in 2017 and they never came back. Like it's was serious as fuck. Like, so that's why I thought it was an exciting surprise that it was funny. But I think that if people are familiar with the director, then they would have had an inkling of what was to come a little bit more. But anyway, guys, you know, you can laugh when a movie is funny, even if kids got abducted. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to roll with the punches.
Yeah,
The humor
come on,
is there to help you not feel terrible. And you're allowed to
Exactly.
seize onto that joy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is so interesting though, because you're right, the marketing was very serious. And I watched the trailer this morning just to be like, I wonder what's in there, because I never watched it before.
Mhm.
But from the teaser, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued and I'm like very curious about what this is, but I wasn't necessarily like pumped to go to the theater by any means. And then I think this is happening for me with Together also, is I feel like they're such big releases that I'm seeing so much marketing for them, even just in terms of like billboards or big ads or whatever, that I'm just like a little oversaturated by it.
This
And
is
I'm
a
like
classic Chelsea
losing.
thing.
I
If you
know.
tell her to watch anything, she won't watch it.
She's like,
It's
no,
like
By
I
thank
the
you.
was
way,
excited,
don't tell
and
her
then
to
I
watch
was
anything.
like, okay, I get it. Leave me alone. Like I get it, and I moved forward with my life. But
I hate it
I
when
circled
they're
back
like,
and I locked back in.
hell yeah. I hate it when they're like, this is the scariest movie of the year. This is the blah, blah, blah of the
Now I've
year.
moved on.
And that's what
Yeah.
the Together one is doing again. And I was like, don't hype me up like you did for fucking Long Legs, okay? Don't do that because that ruined Long Legs for me the first time I watched it. I came back around, but still.
I think
But
your only teaser approach is perhaps the right approach.
the teaser is also almost always the most like artistic of the trailers because it's like giving you just like the energy. And so they do like cool artistic editing, like usually something interesting with like to the beats of the music and stuff. All trailers do that, but it's like less dialogue, less like little chunks
Don't
of
give
the
me
movie.
plot, just give me vibe.
Exactly. That's all I want at this time. This is what I've learned as a
How are we
32-year-old
ever
film
gonna
critic.
do our trailer reactions now?
Well, that's
Teaser
usually
reactions
the
only.
I'll make an exception for you guys. But in my speaking to random white men and just men at large in the theater, while watching this, they told me that Zach Cregger actually has like a specifically comedic background that I wasn't aware of. I've heard of The Whitest Kids You Know like 1,000 times, but I've
Mm.
never watched it. And so that's like, was he actually in that as an
I think I actually saw something last night, and I don't remember why or when I was looking, but something about him having like an improv comedy background.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, The Whitest Kids You Know. It's
Oh,
like
no!
sketch. It's like sketch comedy. No, that's why it's so funny. It's fine, Sydney. You gotta start
You don't
somewhere.
have to go see his improv
Sydney.
show, but he can draw from that experience.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly. No, it's fine. We love improv. Okay, it's fine in some regards. I love improv when I watch not Matthew Lillard's Matthew Gray Gubler do it.
Yeah, that was fun.
I like improv when people improv in a movie because you can get a bunch of different takes and a bunch of different ideas and see what works best. But when you're watching live improv, it's just like sometimes that one didn't work, but now we're all still stuck here.
Yeah, agreed.
Wait.
It's an exercise in being uncomfortable, which actually can be very important. So
Yeah, actually it's important to push your boundaries. But I think also it's fun that we're doing this movie like so soon after doing Strange Darling because they both like benefit so much from having like a unique like structure, which I
Yeah.
think really like made, like we said in the Strange Darling episode, it really made that movie. It wouldn't be nearly as interesting of a movie if they hadn't done it that way. And I think that Weapons, the structure of like having it be like unfolding interconnected perspectives of each character, different chapters with each character. One was just like interesting from a mystery perspective, but two was really interesting from like it set up a lot of great comedic moments too, because you can see like what the perspective was from one character and it's completely different in reality once you see that other piece. And it was really hilarious a lot of the time. But yeah, what did y'all think of the structure?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really great for like interpersonal dynamics too. Because it's like
Totally.
you start with Justine and you see her thing with Paul, but you don't really know like her relationship with Paul per se. And then when
Mhm.
you get to Paul's part, it's like you're unfolding a lot more. Also, I loved when Justine got her ass beat by Diane Raphael. And I was like, we have to see more of her, right? And then when we got a Paul section, I was like, okay, we're gonna get more of her in this section for sure. Because she is a gift. She's always the best.
She was so funny.
What is she in? What do you know her from?
Grace and Frankie. You didn't watch Grace and Frankie?
Oh, no, I didn't watch Grace and
Oh my
Frankie.
god, you gotta watch
Like
Grace
the
and Frankie.
older sister?
I think
She's one of the she's one of Jane
yeah,
Fonda's daughters.
one of her blonde daughters.
Yeah.
Mm.
She's
Yeah,
like the mean one too, so I love her.
Well, she was amazing in this. I loved her in this. But yeah, the structure I thought really was so fun, and apparently it was inspired by Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, but I haven't seen that movie, so now I want to. I love PTA, so
Magnolia
I'm
is a
always
classic.
down. Yeah, but there's like a lot of like fun references and Easter eggs in this movie as well. Like apparently the 2:17 a.m. is a reference directly to not The Shining the movie. In the movie it's 237 is the room that it all goes down in, but in the book by Stephen King, it's room 217. So that was a Stephen King reference, which I loved. And there's so many really obvious Shining Stephen King references, especially in the climax of this movie, which we'll get to. But I also listened to like a bunch of interviews with Zach Cregger, and is that his name? Did I just make that up?
Yeah,
No, okay,
no,
Zach.
that's
It is
that's
Zach.
right.
I was like, is it Zach? Anyway, and I didn't. I think maybe we talked about this with Barbarian back in the day when we did that episode, but I didn't remember it. Like when he obviously you don't always have an entire story planned out in your brain before you start writing it. But like he really has no idea. He like asks a question, which in this movie was like 17 children disappeared in the middle of the night at the exact same time. The question is why? And he had like no idea as he was writing it. Like he had literally no idea. Like, and in this interview too, he talked about Barbarian. He was like, I had no idea about spoiler alert for Barbarian, about the lady like underneath the house. He had no idea. And then that came to him and he was like, fuck. Well, people are gonna hate that. People are gonna hate that so much. That might tank this whole movie, but that is what we're doing.
I will say Zach Cregger has something internalized that he needs to examine and work through about why he thinks old ladies with stringy hair are the scariest thing possible.
Yeah, what happened to him?
You need to accept that sometimes ladies get old and their hair gets stringy and thin and they only have a little bit of it, okay?
Yeah, they can't help it, okay?
It's just the
Yeah.
life cycle, Zach Cregger.
Yeah. I think also something that I thought was really interesting about like the inspiration for this movie is that it was like inspired by the death of Zach's friend Trevor Moore, who died in 2021. And he like wrote this movie not necessarily like about grief, because like he even said in an interview that he's like exhausted with horror movies that are just like an allegory for trauma and grief processing or whatever. I'm not exhausted of them yet if they're done well, but I get it. There's been a lot of them lately, quite a few. But he was like very dismissive of those. He's like basically this writing this like spilled out of me because I was using this process, that's the word I was trying to do, as like a way to just like pour his energy somewhere while he was having these emotions, which is really cool that he had that space to work through what he was feeling. But he didn't exactly say this, but in another interpretation I saw is that it was kind of each person's perspective was like a different like reaction to like grief, like because all these characters are experiencing grief and loss, not in the exact same way that Zach was as he was going through this, but like they've all lost these 17 children. And so he was having all these different perspectives and like different ways that people internalize that grief and how they like act it out. So that was kind of like the zoomed out perspective of the inspiration for the movie, which I liked a lot.
I also just love the concept of like we're all living our own different truth, and everyone's perspective on something is different, and unless you're literally recording something for posterity, it's like what you bring to an experience colors your perspective on things. And so like somebody says something, maybe I hear something different than you hear because we're both coming in with our own informed perspectives. And so to be able to like reconstruct from each person's world, I always just think is such an interesting way to dialogue with like what is actually happening, what has happened. And the so many different ones here, I think it both enabled a really interesting way to tell the story where you're connected with someone each chapter, so you're like emotionally locked in for whatever you're seeing, but it also enables you to see so many different things, reveal so many different things, like the James one, who is Austin Abrams, who I think is always just fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, I love him. I was so happy to see him in this.
He was so funny in this.
He's so funny. He has incredible range as an actor. He can play like a little sweetie with an absolute heart of gold, like in Dash and Lily. And then he can play like an absolute evil little monster bitch boy, like he does in other projects. But perhaps it's a little spoiler, so I won't say what. But he just is always a gem. He always brings light to the screen. And I was telling Monica and Sydney about this before, but we're doing an early morning recording today. And I was thinking about like maybe waking up and repinking my hair in time, and do kill me if my hair's not pink by the next episode. But I decided not to. I was sleepy, so I hit the snooze button for 2 hours, and within those 2 hours I did construct an alternate movie that we were doing today that also starred Austin Abrams. And I think it's like a vampire movie, and it had like Summer I Turned Pretty influence, and there's like just a lot going on. And then
she was describing this earlier, but didn't say that she was having a dream. She's like, oh, I should have put in my vampire teeth because we're doing a vampire movie. I was like, what? I was like, what movie did you watch?
It's like, I know, I was like thinking I should wear like my vampire Spooky Tuesday shirt because it's like on theme for the movie. And then I was like, that actually is not a movie that we watched or that we're discussing today.
Oh, funny.
But in his section, in the James section, his character is like able to give us pieces of the story, not that we couldn't get without him, but that he is the best vehicle to give us. Like, who else is going to be able to give us a view into that basement other than someone who is very cool with breaking into people's homes and wandering around in them, and B, unbothered or disconnected enough that they're gonna see some fuck shit but also just keep it pushing. So like his narrative is like the perfect entry point for that, to give us that information.
And it was just so well done. His chapter I think might have been my favorite one. He's
so charming. I love him.
Why was his chapter the only one where it was raining? Like we only saw
I didn't think about that. I was like, did it rain in any of the other ones?
There was another continuity error too, because like this is annoying, but in James's one, when he is in the cop car and like gets locked in the cop car for hours and hours, and then it's dark when the cop's name is Paul?
Yeah.
When Paul comes and drags him out of the car and drags him into the house, it's dark. But when little baby Alex comes home from school and has like tons of soup in tow, and Paul and James are already zombified or you know, whatever, under the thrall in the house. Like, it's daytime. It's
Maybe
daytime.
that was the next day.
But that doesn't make sense because he was like surprised to see the cop car and to see them there. And so that happened. Yeah, it doesn't. He would have seen them in the morning. I don't know. It's just that part didn't make sense, but it's fine. I don't care. It's okay. Doesn't. I don't need that to make sense for me. I just noticed it. It's hard now. I notice all these things now that I started working in
and you
movies.
got to watch it twice too.
Yeah. But I also, because we do this podcast and we've been doing it for fucking 5 fucking years
You're
now.
trained now.
I'm so trained. I'm like, oh, is there a blackboard and there's words written on it? Better read those because it's definitely an Easter egg. It literally always is. It's at least an Easter egg or a plot device. And in this case, it was all the info on parasites. Yeah, so that was like the last class that Justine was teaching to all the kids before they were taken away.
Where she's like, "What's a parasite?" One's like, "A tapeworm," and she's like, "You're right."
And you can see it in the dream sequence that Justine has, and then also in that flashback for Alex's perspective, and then also later on in Marcus's perspective. Marcus, not Andrew, by the way. If you read articles about this, they refer to Benedict Wong's character as Andrew a lot, and I think they changed the name of that character like rather close to the release of the film. So anyway, Marcus or Andrew, if you're freaky, he and his sexy husband, they're so fucking cute.
His little Minnie Mouse.
They're so cute. I love them so much. They're watching a documentary about is it the parasitic fungus? Is that what it was? Or the zombie,
like
the
that.
zombie ant or something? I meant to look this up. The zombie ant. Zombie ant fungus. Damn, I love that I just know that. I've looked at this a lot. But it's this type of fungus that, like, if the ant eats the fungus, it like takes over the ant's body and it can control the ant's body and it possesses it exactly and has it like grow this like spore that allows it to like get more ants to eat the fungus and then also fall under the rule of the fungus. I think it's part of the inspiration for The Last of Us, so that's why that's why I know about it a lot. But I loved all of those little Easter eggs in there. Because I don't know, I think this is a really good mystery, the way that it unfolds. And, you know, sometimes you want a movie to stay in reality when it's dealing with such a serious topic. But I feel like it was very clear from the beginning that this was going to be a supernatural film. And I really liked the supernatural elements of it. I thought it was really, really fun.
I also just think it's the focusing in on each character and what they're going through in this time frame allows for just a lot of interesting color to come through that gives the movie a lot of life, because it's like, if you're looking at a larger narrative, even if Justine is your main character, maybe a lot of the interpersonal stuff kind of fades into the background because it's distracting from what you're supposed to pay attention to, which is like the mystery unfolding. But by separating them out into their character journeys, it's like you really can focus on Justine Candy getting her ass beat by Diane Raphael, because it is like what is going on in her life and how this is like a manifestation of what's going on in her life is her like acting out in this way. She's drinking more. She's calling up her ex. And then it's like you get to her ex later on and it's like, you didn't really know why he was fucking around or why he was being like, we're not together right now. And by that, he meant we're not physically in the same location at this time.
Right?
Like a little bit. I was like, oh, of course, this man who's unplugging his like dash cam to not record anything when he's being a bad police officer is also cheating on his girlfriend, fiance,
and his boss
who's the daughter of his boss, the
right?
police, you dumb idiot.
And they're trying to get pregnant. Also, you
oh
could
my
like
God.
all this stuff, and I'm just like,
You like. you get the information that he got this like finger stick on this day that he is spiraling about. So now it's like, oh, he's in recovery, but it makes sense why he's like, okay, I'll have a drink, okay, I'll fuck my ex, okay, I'm hungover and like blah blah blah. He's like fully just like losing his shit. And so to be able to like fully paint out that picture is just like a really fun way to get into like why characters are making the decisions that we see them making, why they're behaving the way that we see them behaving. And it adds like levity, it adds humor, and it's just a really fun way, I think, to like fully connect with everybody outside of the overarching plot, because what's going on in your life is like a huge informer of like why you're going to react the way that you do to things.
No, totally.
Sometimes it's really fun to like see the outcome and then see the lead up to the outcome, which this movie does like very well multiple times.
Oh yeah. And there's so many fun little like genius little tidbits that like you don't really put together until like I guess you've seen it all the way through, or like I've seen it twice now, but like they write witch on Justine's car. Yeah,
which is such great foreshadowing.
Which there is a
Spoiler.
witch. Yeah, so that's so good. And like I loved, I don't know, I feel like for me there's definitely some levity in Justine's first perspective that we see. Like there's definitely some funny stuff happening. Like when she plays the song to wake up Paul.
Gotta get up, gotta get up.
Yeah, great song choices. And obviously she's funny and she's dealing with this in her own way when she's like being harassed and she's screaming like, what the fuck and whatever. But it's still like very serious. Like, you know, she is the teacher of all these children that have disappeared. Like everyone thinks that she's evil and horrible and that she is somehow involved and she has no fucking clue what's going on. But I think like once we get to Josh Brolin, aka Archer's perspective, who was originally going to be played by, I forgot his name,
Pedro Pascal.
Thank you. I was like, wow, this, I had it, and the second I started talking about drum roll, please, Chelsea, take it away. Oh wait, by the way, Chelsea, what month is it?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? It's August. August, that you might want us to continue our new release theme into August.
Thank you. I forgot to say that when I was introducing weapons.
Yeah.
Because I never would have. It would have always had to been you.
I would have never said that.
And you couldn't. You can't do the accent like I can, even if you wanted to.
No,
so.
no, I can't. No one can do that accent but you. But anyway, like, I think that by the time you get to Archer's perspective, you really understand like kind of what kind of movie you're seeing. Like it's not until I feel like you're seeing the other half of what you just saw. You see who painted the witch onto the car and stuff like that. You're like, okay, so this is how the structure of this movie is going to work.
Who's in the truck that's following?
Exactly. And then you get his dream sequence, which is, we'll get into that in a second too, but him waking up from it and screaming, what the fuck, like that. And I feel like that is the moment that like breaks the ice with the audience, and they're like, oh, okay, yes, this is a funny movie. And I feel like after that, like with my audience, even in both movies, that one got in both screenings, that got a huge laugh from both crowds, and people like kind of warmed up after that. They're like, okay, we can laugh. It's definitely a laugh thing. So I think that was a fun moment for sure.
What the fuck, I think, is the most commonly used line in this script. I think it's got to be in there. It's not quite diva level from I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I think it's got to be in there like 10 times.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, and it's a what the fuck kind of movie. It's a what the fuck situation for sure. So,
but yeah, that definitely got a laugh in my theater when he woke up and said, what the fuck. There were some laughs during Justine's part. The girls sitting next to me in particular were very involved in her like following Alex home and like parked outside of his street and stuff like that, especially because she's getting warned by the principal, like, do not do this. Like, you already have been established to have had boundary issues. Leave him alone. It's best for him. Keep that in mind. And she's just like, no, I'm going to his house actually. And I'm going to sit on the street outside for hours. And that
like,
moment where he's like, don't follow me. Like, the way that it was just like, no, girl, come on. Like, people were invested.
Yeah.
For our theater, it was when like she's asleep in the car. She like falls asleep and you see the door opening, and that got
Big
like a
reaction.
bunch of being like, oh my God. And then you just see them standing and you're like, is that a knife? Like, what is it? And then you don't see anything, and then you don't even see it. You hear the car door opening, and
That was
everybody
brilliant.
gasped.
People were
that's one
like
of the things I wrote down
groaning.
in
They
my
were like,
notes.
"Oh no!" Like so
The
good. And
way
then just
she
the
passes
haircut.
by, you think she's moved on and it was just a scary visual. You hear the door open, you hear the swoosh of a blade. It's just so well done.
And I think also like having seen an actual trailer for this movie and talking to Miranda about it, who was so excited, like, or I don't know who said this, but someone was like, "Oh, it's like the children are abducted and there's maybe zombie vibes." Somebody said that to me, in the Discord, and like, you really can't figure out what the fuck is up with all of these people, like the way they're characterized. You know, there's something wrong, but I think that they do a good job of holding back what's going on for as long as they do. Um, and the Gladys reveal is so good later on in the movie. But what was I gonna say about Justine? Oh, the part that everybody laughed so hard at for mine was when she's peeking through the back window and then she sees the parents like zombified, and is so scared that she like causes this huge calamitous sound and like then just like goes right back to the window crack. It's just so funny. There's just really great comedic timing in this movie. Oh, I'm so glad we're doing it on the pod. Hee hee hee. I love it. But the story in and of itself and the imagery of this movie is really, really fucking terrifying. Like, I haven't been driving around LA that much. I've been like out of town for an entire month, but I was in Hollywood yesterday and I saw from just the back a billboard, and there are these little figures on the top of the billboard cut out with their arms out. And like immediately I'm like, oh, that's a weapons billboard. And even just seeing the back of it, and I'd already seen the movie, it's such an unsettling image. The way the children are
their
running,
arms, like,
with their arms splayed out, and they're running like unnaturally, like with this like beam
They're
of
Naruto
intensity.
running. Respect your
Okay,
elders.
I am like, is
It's
Naruto
not
running with their
that.
arms kind of backwards though?
It's not
This
that.
is the
It's
new
a worse.
Naruto.
It's
Naruto
the Gen
run
Alpha
canceled.
version of Naruto
Weapons
running,
run
okay?
is in.
They don't understand.
Okay, well, you're gonna feel bad when I tell you what the actual inspiration is, because it's really horrific. It is inspired by this like classic and very famous photo from the Vietnam War, where there is this little Vietnamese girl
I actually know what
who
you're
had
talking about
been
now.
like covered in napalm, and she was completely naked, and she was like running as her like, it's horrible, I'm sorry, but like napalm makes your skin burn, right? With her arms out from her body, and she's in that exact position that the children are using in this movie. So that actually was what the inspiration was, which is very, 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 very horrific. But yeah, it's also like, inspired by this moment where these children are caught in the crossfire of a war that's not theirs, and like this child's loss of innocence and all of that. And I think that really ties into the themes that are undercurrents in this movie as well. So I was like, damn, Zach Cregger, we're laughing so hard, but the inspiration is so dark. But like, there is something so uncanny about it. Just like, it's such an unnatural way body formation. Like, no one's just like doing that.
Well, it was so interesting because there was one moment in the movie when Alex was carrying home those 2 big bags of soup where he was like almost in that exact same posture, except obviously his hands were little fists to hold the bags instead of straight out. And I thought like that was going to be something, but then it wasn't.
I think he was just straining against the weight of the cans.
The whole soup aspect of this movie is also just like, it's so devastating and so creepy.
When he's feeding all the kids.
Like, this little boy is going to need so much therapy.
The inspiration for that part of the movie is actually really, really tragic. Is like very personal to Zach Cregger. Apparently, as a child, he like dealt with having an alcoholic or multiple alcoholic parents. And so that whole part was supposed to be like an allegory for that experience where like little Alex is this sweet little boy and then all of a sudden like he has to have like okay, this is what it was. He's this like little boy in this happy family and then this mysterious aunt in scare quotes comes to stay and changes the dynamic between him and his parents, and now he has to parent them and feed them and make sure that they're okay, make sure that they survive, and he has to take care of himself. And so the aunt is like an allegory for alcoholism. Like that character came to play. Yeah, I know. Isn't that so sad? I think it was really, really well done. That part of the movie is so fucking gutting because you've just been on this like riotous roller coaster ride and you're laughing hysterically a lot of the time. And then it takes it back to the child who is the center of this story. The children are the center of this story, but we've been focusing on the adults. And so that's a sobering reminder in and of itself. Like there's a kid here that's left behind. And then you see what he's been going through for over a month. Like, oh my God, that part was like really sobering. Oof.
I also thought it was just interesting to get his perspective, at least to a degree, on the other kids around him. Like, you didn't see that much of it, but I did love the reveal because we had the Archer chapter, if you will. He's up second. And we see that one of the main things that he is focused on in his part is like telling his son that which he never told him before, I love you. He's like, I don't know why I never said it. I don't know why I couldn't say it. It's like, but I've never told my son that I love him. And then you finally meet Matthew later and it's like, he's a little bully. And it's like, of course he's a bully. His father never said, I love you.
That, it's such a good point. Like all these little like subtle, like the undercurrent of the subtle things of like how like parents can like fuck up their kids. Yeah, that we don't really get to any more like detail on any of the other kids. It's pretty much just Matthew. Cute little kid though. Too bad he's a little demon. Still doesn't deserve what happened to him. There's also like I listened to this like compilation of interviews and Zach Cregger was going on and on how he was like, there's so many actors who like we auditioned for different roles in this movie, and some of them just like didn't understand the humor of the project, and so they're incredible actors, but like they just didn't get it. And he's like, if I have to explain the joke to you, then I don't want you to be the one telling it. And so I was like, fair. And then it cuts to this quote from Josh Brolin, and he was like, yeah, there's like part in the movie where like I didn't really know what it was for, but I did it, and I don't think that really matters. And he kind of just like trails off into not saying anything. So I was like, okay, so Josh Brolin didn't get some of the jokes, but that's okay because he still executed them very well.
I don't know what part he's talking about.
I don't know either. And then he like, everybody was going back to the what the fuck thing. He's like, everybody keeps talking about that. I don't know why, but yeah, I guess it was like a cool part.
I think it's also just like such an authentic reaction and such a voice for the audience sort of moment, because like we've already had a good jump scare earlier in Justine's part where she has the dream of the witch on the ceiling over her bed when she wakes up, and then she just like heavy breathes and like checks that it's not for sure there, and then kind of like keeps it pushing in many ways. And so for him to have it was a really good one. For him to have the like voice of the audience and being like, what the fuck? Like I think it just is like it allows you a moment to breathe.
Totally. Okay, well, let's talk about his dream sequence really quickly, because I think one of the parts of the movie that like took me out of it the most, and then now I get why, I guess, but I still think it's a little heavy-handed, was the part of his dream. Like obviously in the dream he's following in his son's footsteps. He's like there in the moment when his son leaves the house and he's following him, and then he ends up back at the house. And he sees above, dramatic music plays, and above the house appears an AR-15 with the number 217 written on it, and then it disappears into smoke. And I was
what was
like,
the gun for?
so I
they're
get
weapons.
what it is. Yeah, no, okay, that's what I was first thinking. I was like, oh, they're weapons, and here's a weapon. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought it would come back around and be related to it. And so I was like, okay. I don't know. Everything else is so mystical, magical, whatever. And then there's like this gun. Okay, well, I feel like it could have been done a little bit more delicately, but a lot of people are interpreting that as like gun violence in schools and like school shootings, and like how the disappearance of these 17 kids, like a whole class is like annihilated, and
Yeah.
it happens in a moment and no one understands why. It's supposed to be related to the school shootings and the tragedies that have happened in our daily lives literally all the time, way too fucking much. And so I get that.
There's
And I think
something
that there's
with
a lot to be said there, but did we need a giant fucking like 100-foot gun? I don't know.
Well, I haven't seen any of this other than on IMDb trivia, but IMDb trivia says that a lot of people were also talking about the number 217 representing the number of votes a gun bill received in 2022.
Ooh.
And
I was wondering
didn't
if
fact
the
check
number.
that,
Okay,
go
let me
ahead.
look that up. No,
Yeah.
I was wondering if the 217 on the gun meant that the number meant more than just the Stephen King reference.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. If it is about gun violence, that makes sense. That makes sense why they would want to have this big visual as well, so that the audience really makes that connection rather than it just being like a Easter egg that he's putting in there for anybody who wants to go looking. It
Yeah,
makes
he's
sense
not.
that he is leading in that direction, and also that that character would be the one to have that dream because I bet he has that gun.
Yeah, it could be that too. Like oh, something he's considering because he is like righteously angry in this moment.
Well, also he seems like a gun guy, and like if you're
Yeah.
going with like military references and war and the effect it has on innocent children, then that is also like something to pull
Oh,
through.
here it is.
And when he calls them like weaponized, they are like little heat-seeking missiles, and like their posture is almost sort of like a plane as well. You know what I mean? Where it's got like their arms aren't straight out like wings, but it's like there's the little fins that kind of like cut through the air. Kind of made me think of that as well.
Yeah. I found a source for the what you're saying about the 217. Apparently one, Zach Cregger is being like super tight-lipped on like what that means and it's up for interpretation, and he's like, whoa, read into it what you want, that kind of a thing. So no definitive answer there. But it is related to real world events. In July 2022, a U.S. House representative the U.S. House of Representatives passed an assault weapons ban with exactly 217 votes. The bill was aimed at banning semi automatic rifles with military style features, just like the one that we see in the sky. It passed the House, but was predicted to be stalled in the Senate, and that's exactly what happens. Or what happened. So, yeah, there were 217 votes, and that's for the 217. And so it was like almost, the ban was almost passed, but then the Senate did
That
their
feels
thing.
relevant to the themes of the movie in the sense that we see the town hall meeting, if you will, or parent teacher whatever in the beginning, and it feels in the context of gun violence, it feels very relevant for them to want to just scapegoat one person and turn her into an evil witch responsible for everything, so that they don't have to address any like larger issues going on in their town or society or their households or their families. They can just go, this is her fault, and then they never actually have to meaningfully engage with any sort of change making.
Yeah. No, it's so appropriate. Yeah, so that makes me okay with it now. I just thought that it was like silly in a
It's a shocking visual that doesn't seem
it's like a non-congruent
melt
visual
into the rest of everything else.
Yeah, it's like glaring in that way.
Like like this doesn't, but it's a dream, so.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a dream, but then it's like, I don't know, we just saw Justine's dream, and
Mhm.
it wasn't like, it didn't have those types of elements, but I guess like you can do anything in a dream. It was just like jarring, and I was like, it was so early in the movie too. I like turned to somebody afterwards and said this. I was like, when that happened, I was like, is this movie gonna be bad? Like, I'm like, for some reason, when I saw that, I was like so ridiculous. I was like, uh-oh. And then everything, don't worry. Don't worry, it was good. Don't worry, guys. It was really good. um but yeah, I love that it turned into like a witchcraft story. Like I wish I wanted to do more research on like inspiration for the witchcraft and all that stuff. Apparently a lot of people were tipped off that it would have those elements in it because of the triangle that's in the O.
Yeah. And the
Yeah, and
triangle, I mean, it's so like heavy-handed in the credits so that you can really tell that it is like an aspect of the base imagery of the movie.
totally. Yeah, I don't know if I just didn't notice that before, or like when I see a triangle, I don't always necessarily think about witches. Honestly, I think about
It looks like a
Harry
magic
Potter,
8
but that's
ball to
about
Yeah,
me
it
witches.
did
That's
look like a
about
magic eight
witches.
ball.
That is witches. So
because it was like
whoopsies.
blue circle, then blue triangle. And so I guess you
Somebody
could
said,
also, like Harry Potter style, kind of like make the leap to whatever. I blocked it out of my mind, I
"Oh,
guess,
well,
with the
that's
Elder
not
Wand
in
and
the."
the
The
Yeah,
Deathly
no, that's what I
Hallows.
was thinking.
yeah,
The
thank
Deathly
you.
Hallows. That's what it makes me think of too, because unfortunately. But also, hold on, hold on. You know what else is a triangle?
That's true.
Oh.
That's true.
Just thought about that. I just looked at the kids. But okay, we're not stupid. The triangle is not in the marketing at all. It's only in the credits.
There's something in it earlier in the movie
Like a
with the
triangle in the
like,
movie.
blue triangle and the blue circle around it.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember where or when it was. It might have been like in the opening credits or something, or before we like
Oh,
shifted to the like character perspectives. I don't remember exactly where it was. Um, but it like appeared on screen, I think, kind of like devoid of much else.
yeah. Oh, man.
It could have been with the title credit, potentially.
Maybe. Maybe, yeah. But it totally had like all the Blair Witch shit that I love. The triangle is part of the Blair Witch insignia too, and then the sticks like kind of, they're not tied together, but things tied around the sticks. I loved how it worked, and I also just like to talk about Gladys a little bit. I loved her like non-traditional like characterization of a witch. She's like this bright, colorful witch, this like clown like goofy kind of witch. I think that was really really fun. Instead of like, black cloak, blah 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 kind of thing. Loved her hair, great wig. I love that. So nice. Um, but I also loved like the details of her like costuming and stuff. Besides the fact that I owned all the things that she owned and could put this together very easily, I appreciate that, Zach Cregger. Thank you so much. But also her fucking teeth, man. Her teeth
Yeah.
spoke multitudes. Like, and just like the little details they give about you, because they're not giving you any backstory on her, but they were gonna, which is interesting. Apparently, in an earlier version of the script, there was like she was gonna have her own segment, and it was gonna have like a backstory about her and how she got to be
I'm
where
a
she
bitch
is and
with a
blah blah blah.
backstory.
Exactly, it was gonna be like that. Which she obviously is a bitch with a backstory, but I'm glad that we didn't find out about it, because Zach Krieger like was like, it took you out of it. It revealed too much,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like it slowed down the pace of the story. And yeah, he said that basically like his goal is a very Sydney Forward's goal. He's like, he wants to make this shit as lean as possible at all times, and he also like storyboards like everything, every single shot in advance, and like picture boards everything. So there's only like two scenes that were deleted from this movie, and they were ones that like don't change the story at all. They just like, we're gonna maybe clarify something. I feel like maybe they clarified that Marcus's ribbons were stolen or something like that, or maybe a little more perspective there. But yeah, nothing else was taken away.
I thought the way that Gladys was revealed was really interesting and well done.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're getting like peeks of her as the witch, if you will, in the other points so far. And you kind of assume that everything like must be fine enough with Alex because we know that he's been speaking to the police. We know that he's in the other class. We know that like the school and the police have been involved with Alex because they talk to him just as much as they talk to Justine Gandy.
Yeah.
So you kind of are put in a position to just assume that like his parents are as involved as all of the other parents here. And then finally you get to the Marcus chapter and you get like actual insight into this of like how she is able to step into that parent role in that position. You get more of it in Alex too, but when she like comes in for the meeting with the principal, and that's like her first real reveal as an actual meaningful character on screen, as opposed to just like someone spooky out in the woods or part of a dream sequence or whatever. It's so well done and she's so ridiculous, but like you're starting to be like, what? The way she's like, oh, they've got consumption, so you know they can't come in, and he's like, okay, maybe I'm forgetting like what's consumption again, like.
No, that's
is that not the plague?
They do those little fucking details to make you like realize that she is like anciently old. Like she has been alive for hundreds of years because like she's calling it consumption. They used to call it back in like fucking like 100 years ago. And like her teeth are literally little fucking nubbins. They're literally, it's like one like half of a millimeter down from her gums. So that's how long she's been around.
Her veneers just fell off, okay? That happens to my dad sometimes. Every once in a while, a tooth pops off.
That's not how they do veneers. I know how they do veneers because Mr. Adams' tooth broke off one time and he has one fake tooth. And so he sent a picture of what it looked like just before he put his other tooth on, and they basically like shave it down so it looks like a baby tooth. So it's like smaller on the like wide. The width is also smaller, and it's just like a little baby tooth, so it has something to hook onto.
Mark's is like a tiny little nub. Like
really, how does it get?
Well, I'm sure the technology
like
has changed over the years, but at that point, that tooth is already shaved down. You know, you can't really reshape it much more.
They're all like, if all of his teeth are gone, it would look exactly like hers.
Ew, that's so crazy. Okay, yeah, people getting veneers, I'm happy for you, but also think of the apocalypse that is inevitable, and you will one day look like that woman.
What's gonna happen? You're
just something to
eat.
consider. There's no shame in getting adult braces. I'm probably gonna have to do that. So,
I like my teeth. I want to keep my teeth as long as humanly possible. Veneers freak me out.
Yeah.
Why are your teeth so perfect?
You can't go back. You can't go back.
You really can't go back. That is the thing. Anyway. Yeah, I just loved her. I loved her. I love the weird bangs. I love how quirky she is. I loved Marcus's assistant's reaction to her and how she just like totally feels that something is off, which it is. Yeah, it's spot the fuck on. And I
also think her style is so fun in that way as well, because it really feels so like out of place with like time and the world that they're in right now. So that feels like another element of like
I cemented
this. Yeah, like I locked into this a while back, and why should I have to change just because the world is changing around me?
I feel like for that, like to insert a backstory that doesn't exist, she was probably like wearing whatever the fuck she was wearing from like 200 years ago, and then she finally got to the 80s and she was like, okay, I gotta update.
I get it, different. Actually, love the colors.
Let me buy all this Dayglow shit. I'm gonna do it. She's like, I actually really fuck with this. And then, you know, like however many more years have passed now, and she's like, well, I already updated my style, girl. I'm not gonna do it again.
It's so expensive.
Exactly. And you know, the 80s people wear 80s clothes still. It's fine. She can get
Listen,
away
the
with it.
80s never
He
died,
rocks
okay?
it. Yeah. Ugh. I love also when she like pops up in James's story in the forest. Oh, let's talk about that. Oh my God, what an oddity reference. Sorry.
I
It was
know, that's
such
also
an
in my notes
oddity
for
That's in
through
my
line.
notes too. I was like, wow, we did incredible through lines this entire month with the strange darling
Hiding in the
pacing and hiding in
tent.
a tent.
Yeah,
Men
we were all
cheating on their
preparing for weapons.
wives. The
No.
aspect of the golems is like the wooden man.
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
people
no, because
here being
she's
used
We
as
actually
zombies.
using.
planned this. We're so smart and so perfect.
We have like a direct through line from our brains to Zach Cregger's brain, and so we just felt it coming. Except I didn't know that he was creating this movie or involved at all. So, anyway, don't think about it too much. But yeah, I really loved. Oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Someone else take the wheel. It's gone. I haven't
In
eaten
the
today, so I'm
woods,
lost.
James in the woods, he gets a
Oh,
glimpse of her.
yeah, just okay, just like more fuel to the fire. Do not get in the tent. If something scary is
Don't be
happening,
in the
the
woods.
tent literally can't protect you. She wasn't
I
in the woods
did-
in Oddity. The tent can't
Still,
protect
yeah.
you.
I
But-
felt like the tent was more justified here than in Oddity, because in Oddity,
Yes.
it's like someone is in your house and the tent is in your house, and now you can't see anything else that's going on in your tent. And if someone is in your house, they know that you're there because they waited for you to go outside so that they could go inside. And this one, it's like he sees something and then he runs far enough away, I think, that it's like you can imagine that they're not going to investigate every tent necessarily.
There's only one tent in there. It's not
there's
a
only one
campsite.
tent,
He's the only
but-
homeless man in the fucking forest.
Yes, but it is just as likely that he just like ran away than it is that like it felt. I mean, it's still not wise because you can't see what's going on around you, but he's also, you know, not in his
You're
best strongest state of
blind
mind.
with your love of Austin Abrams.
No, I'm just saying it
kidding,
made.
I'm kidding.
I'm not saying it was the right choice. I'm saying it made more sense.
Yeah, that's fair. But I still get why she did it in Oddity, and I get why he did it here. It's like that base feeling inside
Yeah.
of being a human and
Right.
being like, let
I
me
need
put
to
a
be
wall
back in the
between me and the
womb right
bad guy.
now.
Exactly. Let me get into a small, safe space. But like a tent is not going to save you. I've
I
seen
will
so
say-
many movies where people get ripped to shreds through the tent.
I think my
Yes.
favorite scene in this movie is we see him smoking like meth or crack, one of the two, who knows?
Whatever
and
it may
then
be. Yeah.
it's like after, you know, he's been in the house, he's seen all the kids, and he's getting the money and he sees the $50,000 reward. And so he's calling to like
Mhm.
report
So funny.
it. And I'm like, he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
But he's so tweaked out.
He's so tweaked out. Oh
And then
my
it's
God.
like
I
He's
love
just like, okay, so like, how do I get the money? Like, when he says
Can
I'm
you come bring it to
phobic,
me?
I
Yeah,
love that.
I can't come into the
Phobic.
police
I got a
station because
huge
I'm
laugh.
phobic. Like, it's just so good. And then
So
His
funny.
delivery is so funny.
truly,
I
Austin
do
Abrams
love him.
stan.
Oh my God. I guess I love him.
I
You
love him. I love
so
him
much.
so much.
I need to watch more of his things. I was stoked to see him in it because I couldn't like remember what I'd seen him in before, but I was like, I know
Dash
I
and
love that
Lily's
guy.
really cute little Christmas romance.
Oh, he's in Euphoria also.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's good in Do Revenge, which is the Jennifer Caton Robinson movie that I talked about a little bit on I Know What You Did Last Summer, because she's the same writer.
Yeah. No, I really haven't seen that much stuff with him. Did I
saw
see
him in
Chemical
Wolf. Well, I didn't
Hearts?
really watch Wolves, but I was in the room while my dad
Oh.
watched Wolves, and he's cute in that one too.
I think I saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I did. It was whatever.
Mm.
Anyway, it's the same director of the guy who did Autopsy.
He's in Tragedy
Autopsy of
Girls.
Jane Doe.
I forget that. He's the guy in the beginning of Tragedy Girls. Craig, who she's making out with in the car, and then they get him.
Mm,
Lowell comes.
okay. So
wanna-
let's talk about Marcus's part because I feel like that's where you start to fully unravel what the fuck is going on in this movie. We already talked about the meeting with him and Gladys and how uncanny, creepy, unsettling that shit is. But we also get like the second half of the perspective from Justine earlier, where like the CPS situation is being brought up. And I think it's really interesting. I think that Justine's character is so interesting because like she obviously oversteps her bounds in a lot of ways, but she's the only one who's like looking close enough at Alex to understand that something is fucking wrong, because like Gladys did do an incredible job, or honestly mostly just Alex did an incredible job of covering up like what is actually happening. But there are
Well,
so
her thing with
many
the police interviews when she's like, he had a stroke, so I'm taking care of the family, but I brought him with me so you can see that the dad is alive and he's here but non-functional. Like, that's a very good cover up.
Well, why
No,
didn't
totally.
when she's talking to she like says, "Oh, he had a stroke." Know what I mean? Like with Marcus, and they're like, "Oh, consumption. Oh no, they're perfectly fine." Why didn't he just be like, "He has a stroke. I've now like come in, like the mom's out of
Well,
town for like work or something, so like I'm in charge." Know what I mean? Like that would have been
I get what you're saying, but I feel like that might have put the it could have put the like custody thing into question even more, because if like the dad is like out of commish, you know, like and cannot be a guardian for him, then like guardianship will come up, and that's something that as a mandatory reporter Marcus might have to facilitate. I don't know, but yeah, no,
Well,
that
the
is a
police are
weird
mandatory reporters
inconsistent.
as well. But yeah, I think it is the consumption thing is very like this is a temporary situation, so you don't need to worry about it beyond the bounds of this conversation. And
Yeah.
the police is like she's setting up that there's like a larger ongoing because they're probably gonna want to talk to her like multiple times, blah 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 blah. So it's not a consistent story, which is an area where things could be looked into if people were paying attention. But it makes sense why she's like tailoring for different situations.
Totally. I think also I think also they would have been like the teacher might have known already, would have probably known already if the husband had a stroke, because I feel like that would have like come up in like parent teacher conference sort of things, like with the police being more removed from the child's life, she could say something more serious like that. And she also had to, because he literally had to be there, and I Gladys didn't know that she was going to have such a like bulletproof excuse in that moment. But anyway, you're right. It's like not consistent and not super smart on her part if people are putting two and two together. But the
And it's
thing
also
is, like, no
like
one is doing that.
it's a month later between the police interviews and the parent teacher conference at the school, because the police interviews are like happening right after the disappearance. Yes, he's already
Mhm.
stabbed his face with the fork just to keep Alex in line. But this is very early on in the timeline, and then like a month later like their condition has devolved a lot more presumably, so it's like maybe they're no longer fit to even be like puppeteered out of the house.
Yeah, they can't even like speak a little bit. Yeah, that's another thing that is so sad about this movie too, is that no one is really checking up on Alex after that first week, because it is so obvious that there's something wrong in that house if anybody's looking closely enough, but no one wants to look closely enough because they're, you know, worried about other things. They're worried about the kids that are gone. They're not thinking about the kid that's still there. Like, it is weird that the nobody is picking up the newspapers from the front lawn. That is a sign of neglect. That's why Austin or James's character like breaks into the house, because he looks and he sees signs that this house is actually abandoned, because that's a classic sign. So always pick up your newspapers, or people think that you're out of town and they could break in. That's the thing I've learned. But anyway, that and like the windows being papered up, why the fuck would that be happening? And why isn't his family picking him up from school anymore? Like, there are all of these things, but no one is focused on him anymore because they're worrying about these children that are gone. And it's just so sad. There's literally no one else in the world, it seems, that cares about what's going on with him except for Justine.
Yeah.
I think they're able in Marcus's chapter to present some narratives that make sense for that to a degree, when he's like, of course they've like papered over their windows, they don't want people like coming over to like
Yeah.
rubberneck essentially at the tragedy by like focusing on this one child. He's had enough attention, he doesn't need people like coming by his house to be like, so what did happen, Alex, and like what's your take on things, Alex, and like you good in there, like it makes sense from that perspective. And to present that, and also to be again like this kid's primary connections were probably with the other kids and the other families in his class. He's kind of a loner, we can see in earlier parts of his chapter, but those would be his closer connections, and all of those people are gone, and all of those parents are so lost in their grief or focused on their own tragedies that it probably is painful to look at the one kid who's like left behind, or to think about his parents
You're
who
like,
like
why isn't
get
it
to
my
keep their
kid?
kid. Yeah, like how come my kid wasn't the one kid? So it makes sense why he slips through the cracks, but I did think that that was one thing that was like very nicely done, was Justine and Alex's relationship, because
Yeah.
the Justine chapter gives you such a different impression of it, especially with him being like, don't follow me. And then it's revealed later, like, he's protecting her. He
He's
doesn't
protecting
want
his
her.
parents too.
Sure, he's protecting his parents, but I think also he doesn't want her getting like
Her to
roped
get
up into
in
this
it.
at all. And the fact that she is getting like choked out times two at the end, and then is finally safe and finally released, and she's still like, and I'm gonna go upstairs and see if Alex is here and if he's okay. Like,
She really cares about him.
yeah,
Yeah, no. She oversteps maybe, but like she also
She
could sense that there's
oversteps
something wrong.
with like goodness in her heart.
Yeah, with good intentions.
Yeah.
I was a little bit like, aren't you also a mandatory reporter, girl? Like, you could make a call. But I
Well,
think
she's
it
on
makes sense.
she's suspended at that time, so maybe not. I
Right.
don't know
And
how it works. I
so
don't know.
I know. I think as a teacher it is kind of interesting, because it's like, if you see something at the grocery store when you're not at work, like, is that outside of the bounds of your professional responsibilities or whatever? I would probably imagine that a lot of people, because of their ethical bounds anyway, would be like, I'm gonna do something or say something. But I think it makes sense that she just like would want to be more removed from an official standpoint, even if unofficially she's parked outside their house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Because there's already so much suspicion on her anyway. I don't think that she'd be able to like. She doesn't have the good standing in the community right now.
She
To like,
doesn't have a good relationship with the police, that's for sure.
yeah, that's for fucking sure. Even though the police are on her side, the chief of police is very much defending her in that conversation with Archer. So,
He's
but
also
anyway,
defending himself, I think, by being like, we looked into this. Stop implying I'm bad at my job. If you know something more than I know, why don't you tell me? But if all that you have to say is she must know something, I'm telling you, we thought that
don't.
as well, and we looked into it, and there's nothing to be found so far. So
Yeah.
if you can do better, why don't you do better? And if you can't do better, please leave my office.
Yeah, I did like how they were
yeah.
like, "What do you see that I don't?" Like, what?
Mhm.
And he didn't have an answer. He was just like, "Something isn't right. I just know that."
I need somewhere to put this
They need
guilty
someone to point
feeling
the
that
finger.
I have.
Yeah, someone needs to be responsible for this, and that's
So that
why
I don't have to confront the fact that I never told my child I loved them.
Which is so wild. I'm sorry.
Insane. But like disappearances stories like that can just be so horrific for the families because like there's no resolution. You can just
Mhm.
never know what happened. And this family these families are lucky in the way where they end up finding out what happens. But like the little girl at the beginning says, these kids left at 2:17 a.m. and they never came back. Like they don't come back in the same way as they were before. Um but I feel like you start to like really realize how fucked the stakes are with the Marcus one because like all is revealed that how sinister everything is I just want to say that I'm obsessed with Marcus. And what's his husband's name? I
Terry,
can't find him on here.
I believe.
Terry. They're so cute. I love them together. I love their little Disney adult thing that they're matching Mickey and Minnie shirts. And
Disney
so the
adult.
people who I watched the second movie with, not in the way where we chose to go together, but there are these two boys sitting next to me, and I was like, I have questions about what you thought about the movie right afterwards. Love to do that. Because I turned to them and I was like, you thought it was funny, right? Like, what was wrong with this theater? And he's like, I know. But anyway, they were talking on the way out that they used like public domain Mickey and Minnie's. Like those are the really, really old ones on there, so they could get the usage of them. And so I thought that was really funny. And also I thought it was like insane how much branding was in this movie, because they did scenes in a 7-Eleven and a grocery store. They had like Fruity Pebbles, all this stuff. I was like, that sounds like a fucking nightmare for clearance, but good for you, Zach, that you have the budget for that.
Maybe it was product placement.
No, it totally was, but it's just like a lot of back.
But it felt very natural also, as opposed to like in I Know What You Did Last Summer, where they were like base suitcase or whatever.
Vaz water. No, it wasn't.
Tostitos chips.
Tostitos chips. I love my Tostitos, Danica says. But yeah, that scene where she comes over to Marcus's house is just relentless. Oh my god. I'm like, okay.
Bowl of water, and she actually doesn't bother justifying herself anymore.
That was so fucking funny. She's like, I'm an eccentric. What can I do? I'm an eccentric.
I was like,
what's she gonna do? Is lap
Give me
it
my
up?
bowl of water.
I was expecting her to be like, but it was not that at all. It was for her ritual with her big carpet bag, which I love so much.
Very Mary Poppins.
But oh my god, I love all of the like body horror aspects of this movie that we get in this like chapter 3 kind of scenario here. Because before it's been like supernatural horror, like spooky, not jump scare necessarily, but like, you know, spooky image of a person in the night coming and getting in your car.
Though, like
it's jump scares, yeah. They're good jump scares though.
You're getting like
jump scares.
Glimpses of the witch. But again, it's in all of these contexts where you can rationalize it of like, she just woke up from a dream. He's having a dream. He's under the influence out in the woods. Like you get through 4 other characters before you get to Marcus and really see it firsthand in the light of day.
And it's like jump scares, but it's also more like tension building. Like you can feel the like bow being pulled taut and tauter as it goes, and then finally this is like where it starts to release, because it just becomes like visceral balls to the wall type of horror. Like the fact that he's like, they take control of Marcus and he smashes his fucking face into his lover and caves in his lover's face, and oh my god, the choice that they made to show what these people look like when they're like deeply under the thrall of Gladys with the eyes was so fucking unsettling. Like, because you can't really tell if that's actually a choice that they're making, at least for me, with the Marcus one, because I was like, is he injured? Like, was he hurt?
It looks like he got pepper sprayed when you first see him, when he's like running at Justine at the gas station.
And also, yeah, so that part you think like, oh, maybe he was pepper sprayed. Then the second, once you see it from his perspective, for me, I thought he just smashed his fucking face so hard onto Terry's face that Terry's face caved the fuck in. Like, did he crunch part of his like brow bone, and that's why his eyes are sticking out like that? But then it's like later on when you see Paul and you see James and you see the parents, now that they're like activated, their eyes are also like bugging out of their heads like that, and it's just such an unsettling image. Oh, I hated it. I mean, I loved it, but I hated it. Ugh.
Again, I love seeing the payoff and then like what caused it. And
how'd we get here?
And also I loved when Marcus is just like running and you hear all the people being like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Like,
oh my god.
Okay? Like this movie is
so...
just like so unintentionally funny. Like,
It's
I think it's
intentional,
very-
girl.
yeah.
It's very
no,
intentional.
it's intentional, but like you sit there sometimes and it's like, because those are very human reactions to like seeing
Yeah, like they're
something
not like
that.
he's not writing
It's not like,
jokes.
but
He's writing real
yeah.
things
real
that are
things,
funny.
and so it's like he's being very
Yeah, okay, I
intentional,
see
but
what you
like
mean.
the situation is very
It's
unintentionally
natural.
hilarious.
It's just natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, no, it's just like
authentic.
it's not like somebody's like doing a little bit. They're like, if I saw Marcus running down the street like that, I would also be like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like the way it's paced is so good.
It's
Especially
so
like
effortless and like natural human reaction that is
exactly.
hilarious,
Which is
in
why
a
the what the fuck
horrifying
hits
situation.
earlier.
Yeah, that's why it's what you're feeling watching it. And then like
Mhm.
later on in this same instance, actually, when Justine is running around the 7-Eleven trying to get away from Marcus, and the 7-Eleven guy like doesn't fucking do shit. It might be
Yeah.
an AM PM.
And she's
I
like,
don't know.
you could have helped me.
Yeah, he's like, get the fuck out of here, get out of my store. And she was like, what the
She's
fuck?
always coming in here getting beaten up by someone or other, okay? He wipes his hands of it.
Well, the other one was a liquor store. This is a different place.
Yeah,
I
this is
think
the gas station.
this is the gas station, so it's a different establishment.
She's just
But
getting her ass kicked all over town.
she's getting her ass kicked all over town. She's having a hard time. But I also just loved like the explosive like hit and run when Marcus is like running through there, you're building all this tension. You're like, what the fuck's gonna happen next? And then he's just blasted into fucking smithereens. His head literally explodes.
The gore on that, like the practical
good.
effects, was so good.
The
Yeah,
woman's screaming in that moment too.
Mhm.
Ugh, yeah, and I love that they had this moment, Archer and Justine, where they are now forced to team up because like he started to put some things together. She's still like, despite the fact that
He's been leading
everyone thinks it's
the
her.
charge.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
mob to
she's
burn
the
her at the
one
stake.
doing the actual work to figure out what happened. It's not that the police are doing nothing, but like I don't see them do one fucking thing in this, so whatever. And this movie does a great job of making the police look like dumb fucking asshole bitches, so that was really fun too.
It was a little bit, one of those things was like Paul being so scared that there were going to be any sort of meaningful consequences for punching someone in the face after he got stuck. I was like, there would not be. He will be fine. In today's Trump's America, everybody keeps it pushing. But it did also feel like a good character choice. Like he did seem like he would like spiral.
Yeah. Ugh. I just love like how this movie ended. And I was talking to a friend who hadn't seen it yet, but he had like read a lot of reviews and he said like some people didn't like the third act of this movie and they didn't like the resolution. And I was like, to those people, I'd like to hear why, because I just thought this was such catharsis and it was so scary and hilarious. Like obviously
The way
Alex's
James
part,
keeps getting up and screaming
Yes!
and running every time he gets knocked back down. Every single time, back up, screaming, running.
Okay.
So funny.
that
will
was
say,
so
though,
funny.
One of the more unbelievable things about this is that Josh Brolin wouldn't have a gun.
I guess you can. I think he, like I said, I think he owns that AR-15 or whatever Monica said it was, but maybe he's just not carting it around. But you have to think at some point that's like, what does he think he's walking into?
Like,
Yeah.
they're in Pennsylvania, I think. And
Oh, I have no idea.
yeah, I
It
think
was
I read
shot in Atlanta,
somewhere
but I don't know
that
where it was
they're
set.
like set in Pennsylvania. And I'm just gonna say that man is gonna have a gun in his truck.
Maybe
Well,
he's a responsible gun owner, like in Clown in a Cornfield,
Maybrook,
where it was
Pennsylvania.
locked up.
Which is not a real town,
Yeah.
but that's where it's set. In fictional town, Maybrook, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, yeah, true, but a lot of horror movies wouldn't work if there was a gun, because then they'd just shoot it and then it would be over,
Which is
So
what happens.
I'm okay with it. Exactly. But there's got to be the lead up before that, before we get to the gun part, or there wouldn't be the whole fight.
This is why I'm surviving all horror movies, because I keep my 238 specials on me most of the time.
And do you have it right now? Because I have this stick and I have this blonde hair. And
oh fuck!
I'm
Take
gonna
her down,
make-
bitch.
Monica's coming to get you, so
bitch.
you better be ready.
I actually
I'm
do
hopping a
have them
plane.
right
I'm
now.
just-
So by the time Monica makes it all the way from California to Alabama, I will be
You
ready.
You underestimate
better
my
stay
speed
ready,
when I'm
girl.
in triangle run mode. Okay.
fast as
You don't
fuck,
need to
boy.
get ready. You need to make sure you stay ready at all moments.
You
And
never
that's hard
know.
to do.
Here's
you
the thing.
never know when I'm
I
going to show
cannot
up.
show them on film, but I do have them in a Lululemon bag right out the door, because I go to the gun range like once a week on Tuesdays for Ladies' Day.
Oh, I've
Ladies'
been
Day.
seeing your stories of doing that. So funny. That's awesome. But
the
anyway,
man at the gun
I
range
think
says my gun is the perfect defense gun. Bullets are insanely
great.
large. They're
I'm
scary.
happy for you. I'm happy for you. Yeah, I just think that the way this all comes together is so good, because we get such a sad section of this when we're in Alex's perspective. It's just so horrifying and just depressing to see how he's like stuck in this situation. And he's like, what? Like, he's in third grade. He
Third
looks like
grade.
he's 5 years old, like, but he's
He
7,
reminds me
8.
of Charlie from the Santa Claus.
Oh,
He's
he
such a little
does.
fucking cutie. That actor, what's his name? Carrie Christopher, little Alex. He's so adorable in this. Perfect casting. But yeah, like, to have the levity of this finale right afterwards really helps, like having James's character be so funny, but it's actually just so terrifying. Like, we know what's gonna happen. We know that what Justine and Archer are walking into. I love when Paul comes out when he's in like parasite mode and like waves them in. It felt like Weekend at Bernie's. Like, it's
Right?
just like
Yeah.
such an unnatural moment. That's a part. Like, for example, my first screening, everyone was laughing hysterically at that. Second screening, nothing. Crickets. I was like, you guys are stupid. That's hilarious. I don't know what to tell you.
We got some. Don't go in there. What are y'all thinking?
Oh, you had a very vocal group. That's
we did.
So
we
funny.
had such a vocal group, and it was so fun.
So fun. And I think also one of the biggest scares too is when Archer goes down finally after they've dispensed with Paul and James. Goes down to the basement and he's looking for his son so desperately, and instead he finds Gladys. Oh, so
that
scary.
said, I'm like willing to extend him some grace because he's under a lot of stress and he doesn't know what's happened in the month since. But he also kept looking at all these short-haired kids being like, is this my kid? And it's like, your child has long hair, Archer.
Right?
He could
You
be
don't
wearing
know-
it in a low pony, okay?
They could have
You
cut
know
it.
what
You
your
never
child
know.
looks like, even if it's just in a silhouette. I watched a video, maybe on TikTok, maybe somewhere else the other day, of a mom with her eyes closed feeling the face of 3 different kids, and she knew her child by touch alone, and then the child
That's
cried.
the mom.
Well,
this is
This
the
man
father.
has never
That's
told
okay.
his child
Yeah.
that he loves him.
This is
So
the man
of
who
course,
does not tell his
He's
child
never
he loves
touched
him.
his child's face before,
So
Chelsea.
he's down there and he doesn't know what haircut his child has, and he's just like, I don't know. My child could be any one of these.
Right.
His eyes had not adjusted to the low light, Chelsea. He's in a highly stressful situation. He was almost just killed by a junkie. Let him live. By a thralled junkie, nonetheless. Meanwhile, like, Alex is just so fucking smart. He's such a smart kid. He's been like calculating, I feel like, this whole time.
He's
'Cause
been
he's
paying
like,
attention, taking notes.
I
Well, she
love
shows
that
him
he gets his lick
exactly-
back. Though
what?
he got his
You've
lick
never
back.
heard that?
What does that mean?
His revenge, essentially.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, a
Like, you
phrase I've
get
never
your-
heard before.
Yeah,
Your
like,
Oh,
punches and
Yeah.
they punch you, you punch them.
Imagine how weird that sounds if you have no idea what you're talking about. I was like,
You didn't see the
what?
scene where he
Who did
licked
he
her?
Yeah.
lick?
You didn't
oh my
see the
God.
licking scene? And you went twice, right? So that's weird.
Yeah, I guess I passed out for both of those scenes. I don't want to see any licking. Yeah, but his scene upstairs is so scary while everything is happening to the adults downstairs. Like, he's been through so fucking much, but also Gladys has done the classic thing where she underestimated a child, and she's been showing him exactly how all her shit works, literally step by step. And so he gets it. He's not an idiot. He's in 3rd grade. He can read. Okay? He knows about parasites. He learned about it in class.
Exactly. We saw the blackboards.
Oh,
Yeah,
Don
and-
Steady. I was like, there was one word that I saw in the background on the poster in the classroom that I kept repeating in my head all movie long. And I was like, what was that? And then I just went through the IMDb photos and I found it. It's
What was
Odon
it?
Steady.
What is
I don't know
that?
what it means. Odon Steady is part of the I don't know, the parasite stuff.
Oh. It says that on there. That I think is maybe the like scientific name for the fungus I was talking about. But I'm not sure. I Googled it earlier. Oh, it's right here.
Odont Steady.
Oh no,
With
it's not.
tooth.
It's not.
Mr. Steady. Oh, it's about the whales, perhaps.
No, what I was thinking of was Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. That is the scientific name for the zombie fungus, the zombie ant fungus I was talking about earlier. So
Well,
different
I'll
things,
have-
different words.
Yeah, I'll have you know that the whale built poster in the back, it has a typo, I guess, in the movie because it should be Odontocetti with an extra O in there.
Oh,
Or
fun.
whales that have teeth and whales that have baleen plates.
Oh, okay.
Little
Well-
marine biology for you.
I love it. But I just thought that this ending was so cathartic because after you see what Alex has gone through for so fucking long, and it's just so horrific, the fact that he gets to be the hero of his own story, and then the fact that the children get to exact the revenge.
Yes.
That
Mhm.
felt really, really good. Like, again, to bring it back to I know what you did last summer. Like, there's a resolution there that just didn't feel cathartic to me. Like, even if Chelsea explained to me why the person who it was makes sense and I believe her and it's true, like the way that it played out, it didn't like feel like I was getting
It didn't
anything.
feel satisfying,
It didn't
even
feel
if it makes
satisfying
sense.
at all. This was like the most satisfying ending I've
Yeah.
seen in so long, and it was riotously hilarious.
Oh, the climax
my
was
God, like-
perfect.
The climax
With them
was
just like
perfect.
crashing through all of the houses and through all
Yes.
the windows and
Army
the
of
destruction
kids.
they're
Her
leaving in their wake.
Screaming, and then you hear just like kids screaming, and again, the people, the like little just like background characters
Yeah,
make this, and
the
especially
guy
like,
with the lawnmower.
at the very, very end when like Josh Brolin goes after Matthew,
Yes!
and that the mom, and he's like walking through the houses, and she goes, ah! Like,
She's like, "Oh my God, there's a man in the kitchen!" She's
And
been
she's
through
just,
a
like,
lot. Her
holding
house
her
is just
kid.
destroyed.
I know. She can't put her kid down because they've got bare feet and there's shit
There's
all over
glass
the floor
everywhere.
now.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder how they filmed all that stuff. It's probably just like a bunch of sugar glass, but like those kids went fucking buck wild. There's 17 kids.
yeah.
You're not gonna win in a fight against 17 kids. I'll tell you
Not
that right now.
17
I lost in a
possessed
fight
kids.
against.
rather fight one
I have been-
17-year-old or 17 third graders?
Right.
I've been completely incapacitated by 2 9-year-old boys before, okay? They literally picked me up by my arms and my legs and threw me into the pool, but they weren't strong enough, and so they missed. And so I hit the side of the pool as I went in and got a bruise the size of, I don't know, a basketball. Anyway, so don't underestimate them. They're little demons.
No gang up
Um,
on ya.
Oh yeah. But and the fact that they like not just like took her down, they literally like ripped her head off.
Oh, that was
shreds.
so
Oh.
good.
So fucking good.
And so
So-
satisfying.
So satisfying. And I love how they were like cutting between all the extreme things happening in that moment. Julia Garner or Justine's being choked out. She's like almost gonna expire. The parents are like bearing down on Alex with their eyes bugging out, doing the Shining shit where they're breaking through the bathroom door. Loved that. Very obvious reference. And yeah, finally it all just ends. And I also love the implications. Like, I don't know how it works, and we don't get any information on like how the witchcraft works in this besides like the blood, the water, the hair. The tree is very important. It's a magic tree. It's a magic tree, okay? But like, is Gladys herself magical? Like, does she have something special about her? Because then that still works because Alex is her, if she's not lying, she is a descendant in some regard
Right.
of her, and so he would
The
have that
bloodline.
magic too, the same bloodline. So I liked that, but it also doesn't have to be that too.
Also be
I don't know,
a
I don't really
learned
care.
skill.
Yeah, it could go either way. I love the idea that any of us could be a witch.
Everybody's
we
magic if
just
you believe.
put our blood on a holly tree or whatever the fuck it was.
I didn't I wasn't locked in enough, but I liked that cuz I didn't foresee that like all of the children at once would be what was being controlled when he sent them after her. And I loved him picking the hair out of the wig. I thought that was very smart. He's a good little thinker.
Yes, I was worried about that because I was like, no, the wig isn't her hair. And then I was like, I underestimated him and I'm sorry and I'm an
How
asshole.
dare you?
There's a long hair in there he can pluck out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was because like everything had been like mulched in for the tree from all of the like nameplates that he stole, which I thought was like a great way to do it.
I can tell
too.
you.
Yeah,
can tell
tell
you
me.
I'm locked in enough. There is a scene in the movie at some point, part of Alex's story, where she goes through and she cuts a piece of hair off of every single one of those children and she wraps it around the branch, and that's how she gets them all to leave the house when the police are coming over.
Mhm.
So that's that same branch that she had wrapped all the hair around, and so that's why it controls all of them. Because she hasn't been sending them out on individual things. She's been using them as a horde from the get-go. And so that's what that branch is for. And if you look at it, it's covered in like a billion million different pieces of hair.
Okay. Then I have further questions because the hair scene really felt like the hair makes you a target of the zombies and they come kill you and they need a personal item to control you. But
I think that it's
choose
just
to believe it makes sense if
personal.
I could watch with open eyes from the beginning.
I was thinking that too, but I think it just has to be something that like obviously belongs to the person, and hair is the easiest thing and there's no like question about it. There's no question of who it pertains to. So I think that it's like setting the intent. I think that's like part because we don't know stuff about the ritual, but I think it's like setting the intention by the witch or whatever is how you decide how each of it works. But also, it might not make any sense, and it doesn't necessarily have to for me. Because the bell thing, how does the bell work? They must have like had to already done some witchcraft on Marcus for him to already be controlled. Because like his ribbon is around. I don't know. I think she couldn't have gotten his hair, so she got a ribbon instead because it would have been very obvious if she went up and cut his hair. But it was easy to get Terry's hair. I think it's just something that belongs to a person, and then you can either make them a target or control them.
If I watch this again someday, I'll be paying attention to see what I can catch in that regard.
Well, the one other thing I'll say is that, like, for all the times that she set somebody on someone else, she had a stick that already was their stick that, like, she had already done something with. So it was already the Marcus stick. It already had his ribbon on it. And then she added to that same stick the hair, right? And then she, for Terry, and then she took that hair off, and then she added the hair for Julia
Justine.
Garner. Justine. And then similarly, Alex has the stick that has all the kids' hair on it, and then he adds to that, which is already they've already been thralled up with that stick, right? And then she adds to that he adds to the hair of Gladys, and then breaks it, and that I don't know. I'm not a witch. I can't tell you exactly how it works, but I think
Sure.
it's either personal item or hair, just something that pertains to the person.
Something probably that they like touched also, like that's like a part, because like they, I think like with the name tags, they all like colored them and wrote them. So
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
colored their own.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's just like an oddity where something that's been touching the skin for longer has a stronger bond, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
So,
Anyway, yeah, but I think it is a riotously funny ending, and it's beautiful in that way. But then it still comes back to it being like a very bittersweet ending.
because it's like the parents are still being fed soup, but in another hospital now by professionals, and now has to
Right.
go live with another
Her
aunt,
but
and
she's nice.
at least some of those kids started talking again a year later.
But yeah, that's what they say at the very beginning. The little girl says like they never come back, because like I think the longer that you're under the
For sure. I
control,
agree.
you lose part of yourself, because the whole reason that Gladys is doing this is it's similar to Agatha all along. It's like she's like taking the life force of these
Mhm.
people to heal and sustain her. So she is taking things away from them. You see that she is like doing better, is much healthier than she was when the movie first began. We get those quick glimpses of her. And so, you know, she's taken something away and they're not getting it back. So they're
Yeah,
not the
and
same
kids
as
have
they were
like
before.
kids have a lot more life force to take because in theory they have a lot more life ahead of them.
Yeah.
And the parents have comparatively less, and also there's only two of them. And also I think it makes sense that the kids have a greater hope of recovery, even if they've been there for a month, because again, let's say you drain a year off of their life. Let's say you drain 20 years off their life, even. You know what I mean? In theory, they should still have like hopefully, 40 more years beyond
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas you take 20 years off the parent's life, that's like a way larger fraction of the time they have left.
They have left. Totally.
And then we see Archer again. He comes out of it right away because he's only been under it for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever. But I don't know. It was both like touches your heart a little bit and is emotionally effective, and sort of got some laughs in my theater when Archer does like chase after the wreckage and goes and finds Matthew and grabs Matthew, and then you kind of just see that he like leaves all of the other kids standing there, and he's just like, anyway,
The
me
other
and my
parents
kid
will
are
get
getting
their
this.
own.
Yeah, it like makes perfect sense emotionally that this dad, who we have seen going through it the whole movie and having this like whole emotional turmoil and grief, is just like, I'm taking my kid and I'm getting out of here, and that has to be my first priority, and I can't possibly be, but I am willing to do the right thing sometimes, and I think sometimes you have to do the right thing sometimes, which is why I'm stepping in when Marcus is attacking Justine, and why she's being like, thank you for doing that, and he's being like, what else could I have done? And then also in this scenario, he's like, fuck these other kids. Like, me and my kid are going home.
I'm going home. Yeah, I mean, he can't carry all of them.
Yeah.
He's
He
also
didn't even
probably a
want
little
to call
brain
Justin
damaged.
Long
I was
to
about to
come
say, I
get
would have liked
Bailey.
a second Justin Long cameo right here.
Hello, Sarah Paxton from Aquamarine and Justin
I
Long.
thought that was Sarah Paxton.
I love
was
her.
like, that is someone from a movie that is important in my childhood, but I couldn't tell exactly. That's so
Halloween
fucking
Town
funny.
4.
Oh, yes, of course. Halloween Town 4, Return to Halloween Town, or whatever the fuck it's called.
It's such a good gag, though, also for him, the wife to be like, I'm not comfortable with that. And then 1 second, he like waits for the husband to come home and is like, I'll try again.
He's like,
And then
yeah, of
immediately
course.
Justin Long is like, yeah, come on in. Come into my
Come
house.
on in,
She's
girl.
so annoyed
this
standing in the
horrible
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt very male. That felt very in
Uh-huh.
character for both of them.
Yeah, well, it's also like a kid being like, okay, mom said no, I'll ask dad.
And Dad says yes, always.
Dad says yes. So funny. Okay, I feel like this is a good time to go to our
Segments.
Segments.
I was
Yes.
first.
the bits. The bit. Chelsea's finally found her bit, everyone.
Yay!
Round of applause.
My bits are also funny theme names.
That is true.
That's true. That's true as well. Okay, that brings us to the age-old question: how could this movie be gayer? And I'm happy to report, after watching the film twice, I can tell you that there are gay people in the movie already.
Yes.
So in case you missed
I'm
that,
glad you got that on
In
the
case
second
you
watch
missed
around.
Marcus having
I-
a
it was-
husband.
in case you were asleep. No, I loved that we had some canonically gay folks in this movie, and I thought that they were really cute and sweet, and they were eating 17 hot dogs, and
That was
good
so
for
many
them.
hot
And then
dogs.
they had to die.
So well mustarded, and they've got baby carrots with ranch. I'm like, I'd come over and hang out at their house.
I love them so much, but I do think that it was deeply sinister that they watch TV in 2 armchairs instead of a comfy couch.
Some people do that.
That part, I know.
My mommy
I
loves
was just
doing
like,
that.
oh, that they're sitting up so straight. I mean, good for
That's what
them,
I
I
do at
guess.
my
Everybody
house.
has their quirks.
Armchair's kind
any
of
oth-
nicer sometimes because you can recline.
Those ones
and
don't
get
recline.
leg support.
Those were like vintage, like straight up and down chairs. There's
I
no
don't remember
leg
what the
rest
chairs looked
even.
like.
That's devastating.
Break
You've
out
gotta
the
Something I
have
auto
really
leg
picked up
rest.
on the second watch. But who else should be gay?
Gladys, obviously, chaos bisexual.
Chaos. It's like a vampire. She's been alive long enough that if she wasn't already gay, she certainly is by this point.
Exactly. Like, she doesn't discriminate who she sucks the life force from, okay?
And that's beautiful.
Exactly.
Love is love
love
to
that.
Gladys.
Love is love after all.
I was thinking about it with Justine and Paul and Donna. And I was like, do I want him to be a female police officer? And then I was like, I don't think that I do. And then I was like,
He's
would
so
I want
perfectly a man in
Justine
this.
and Donna to be men? And then I was like, I don't know. I kind of like them as they are. So, but
Yeah,
Alex's parents could have been both women
Yeah, true.
or both men, I
Yeah,
guess.
that could have been cool. But then it would have been so much tragedy happening to gay couples. Like,
Yeah, that's so true.
then they would have annihilated at least the like conscious mind of
The whole
every gay
queer
person
population
in
of
the
this small
movie.
town.
Yeah.
I like to think that the man mowing the lawnmower was gay.
Ooh, I was getting a vibe for sure. I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. Mm-hmm. Scans. But yeah,
Did
amazing.
we hear the name of the police chief's partner who's having their
Like-
anniversary this
I
Sunday?
think they said wife, like, or something.
And is that the way that his partner identifies, perhaps? We see Terry wearing the mini shirt. I'm just saying,
True.
there's room.
There's room. There's room for that for sure.
Your police
Yeah.
chief. That's the representation we need.
ACAB
Thank
always,
God.
though.
Jesus Christ. I don't need any more gay cops in my life. I have enough already, which we'll talk about
This is the
outside
gay
of the podcast.
police.
You're still the police.
Gaybrook, Pennsylvania.
Dead. Okay. Any other gay thoughts we'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
All right,
not for
Matthew
sharing.
Lillard, but not for sharing. Matthew Lillard, I feel like he would love to be in a Cregger flick, so I do hope that happens one day. But where? Where to
Okay,
put
obviously he's the man
him?
mowing the grass.
Mm.
Great man mowing the grass.
Or he could be the guy at the gas station who's not helping.
Great.
I would like him to be Terry, I think. I want him to be Benedict
Oh.
Wong's husband, and I want him to get his hair snipped and be like, what the fuck?
Also,
That
he
shit was
could
so
be
funny.
a good sheriff.
Yeah. I love him in a position of authority.
Mm.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to recast anyone in this because I really liked this cast so much. But I mean, he would have done a wonderful job as Josh Brolin's character.
Yeah, 'cause he
I
could have
also
Given off, like, Josh Brolin gives off, like, menacing very
Mhm.
well
He
in a way
does,
that, like,
yeah.
I couldn't see Pedro Pascal do it, but I could see Matthew Lillard pulling
I
off.
could see Pedro Pascal do it.
I can, but, like, I
Ooh, the way you
can't,
said
you
that.
know?
Yeah.
He's
I
got
would love
range.
to see Matthew Lillard play Justine's character potentially and be like the overly involved teacher who's like being demonized by society and is kind of like
Yeah, I
messy
could
and
see
falling
that.
apart,
Mhm.
but like ultimately does care.
I could
That
totally
would have
see
been
that.
great, actually.
Yeah,
Younger Matthew Lillard could have been James.
Yeah,
definitely.
gimme.
He would have been incredible as James, actually.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard. Okay. Are we ready for dumb bitch?
Yes.
Gladys. Gladys is a dumb bitch because she's really smart, but she underestimates Alex, her genius Wiccan child, as well, or
True.
great grand
She
grand
doesn't even see him
nephew.
as her legacy, which is kind of like, hello, girl. He's clearly got skills for witchcraft.
Also, Paul.
Exactly.
Paul
Paul
a
is
dumb
such a
bitch.
oh my
Like,
god.
he's cheating on his partner. I don't know if they're married or like they're definitely living
I think
together.
they're married.
Like,
I feel like they're engaged, and I don't know why I feel that way, but
Like-
that's
he
I
beats
guess
the
I'm
shit
just
out of
being
James.
too traditional.
Like, he
He
is
asks that
unplugging all of
insensitive
his
he's like,
stuff.
I'm
question.
ovulating. Come over. I'm ovulating this
Over.
weekend. Yeah, we're gonna fuck because I'm ovulating this weekend. And
Yeah,
he's
no,
like,
he's so fucking dumb. Like, cause he like at the beginning you're like they're making Justine so sinister in some ways, which is rude because let her live. But like I don't think she knows, like she doesn't know Paul that well anymore. So I don't think she knows he's a recovering alcoholic either. I think she thinks that they're going to
Yeah.
go on a little date thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, get drunk so we can fuck. So I don't think she's
literally,
like
what are you
luring
doing?
him
Yeah,
out
why are you
And
of
coming to me
he
at
his
a
is
bar and
even
you're
like, oh,
ordering
we're
a
not
Coke?
together right now. So, like, she doesn't
Yeah.
know. That's not her fault. That's Paul's fault.
Yeah, he literally says like we're not together right now. He's what a fucking idiot. Yeah, physically she's in Santa Fe or something like that. So we're not together.
The lock
Which is
screen.
not
She's
even
the lock screen
true
on his
the
phone.
next day. My God, what a
know.
little dumb bitch.
Oh, he's the dumb bitch. Okay, we've decided.
There's got to be some procedure also for when you get accidentally stuck, and I know it's not punch them in the face and then unplug your dash cam.
Right?
No. Okay, that brings us to our knives out of 5s. And I know it's early days, but how are people reacting to it so far? To be clear, we're recording this the day after it came out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So who can say? But as of now, on IMDb, it has an 8.0 out of 10, and on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 96% fresh from critics and 89% fresh from audiences. I did check the awards just to see if there was anything in there, but it didn't make the festival circuit, I don't think. The only thing that was in there was that some festival gave it like the most anticipated movie nomination, which is to say that they were excited for it, not that they had seen it and thought it deserved acclaim. So I think the theatrical debut was the debut.
interesting. Well, I feel like how does that work? I don't really know how that works. I feel like a different type of movie goes to festivals or like a smaller budget kind of one. There's
Yeah,
like
like
a
an
fucking
independent
huge,
one.
like an independent movie. Exactly. I think that there's a huge bidding war for this movie. He wrote it on spec. It was not commissioned. Like I was saying, he wrote it on spec because he felt inspired after the loss of his friend, and he just wrote it. But Barbarian did so fucking well, and people really loved that. And then people read this script, and they're like, "Holy fucking shit, this is really great."
Isn't this the
And
one that Jordan Peele's production company was like fighting for and didn't get, and then he fired everybody because they didn't get this?
Yeah, IMDb trivia said that their offer was like $7 million lower than the one that they ended up going with, Zach Cregger and co. And also that Jordan Peele and Zach Cregger had the same like management agency, or say manager, potentially even maybe, and that could have been a potential conflict of interest for being able to like fairly represent both sides. And so there was a parting of ways afterwards.
I'm trying to look up what the budget for this is, but I keep like, don't ever, if you're Googling
was-
something with this movie, write weapons movie.
It was like
Otherwise, you're
38
just gonna get stepped.
million
Weapons
done.
budget. The United States has a $587 trillion
Yeah.
weapons budget.
I think
It's
it was like
38
38
million.
million.
Yeah, it's 38 million. Wild, 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 wild. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty substantial budget, but I mean, compared to some of the big budget crazy fucking things. Oh my God, Weapons got 18 million in its opening day.
So they're
Whoa.
well on their way.
Yeah, they're doing what? They're doing really well. I mean, everyone,
Like
all
we
the
said,
theaters were
theaters were
booked
packed.
out,
Yeah.
totally packed. People were really excited for this, and I think they did a really good job on the marketing for it, even though it's not like representative of the tone. But I think that's beneficial that it's not representative of the tone because I think that it's like a fun surprise because of that. And also, if you know Zach, then you know what you're gonna get probably because I mean he could surprise us, but he is a really funny guy. Um, Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting. Who wants to go first?
Part of me wants to give it a 5. Part of me wants to give it a 4.5. I'm like not. I had a great time. Fuck it. I'm giving it a 5. Like there was like a couple things that you were just like, and then you're just like, I don't know. I like there were like the jump scares were great. The
Yes.
the soundtrack that like built the tension was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Even when like after we had our first dream jump scare and then we had our second dream jump scare and I knew it was fucking coming, although it came at a point where I thought that it was going to come when Matthew like first turns around and then it doesn't and it comes out later. And
that was a really good fake out.
You had another like really good jump scare with Gladys in the basement. That was giving Big Barbarian vibes also too. Like
yes.
This man loves a basement. This man loves
She
a
all down
hairless
there.
lady
She an
in a
old
basement.
lady down there.
I will absolutely go see this again. I will probably still jump. I will definitely hee hee ha ha the entire time because like it was I like being scared and laughing at the same time because like if you go through like Halloween Horror Nights, that's the whole fun of it is like you're scared and then you're just like dying laughing with your friends.
You release the tension, otherwise it just really builds up, which like good, I guess, but I like to take a deep breath.
Also, James was perfect. I want more James, actually.
Yeah.
Like I've been thinking about
my little
him
guy
for the entire like ever since I got home last night. I was just like, it was so good.
He's very personable.
No, I think I'm right there with you. Like, I know I've been giving a lot of 5s lately, but it's good to feel excited about the horror genre again. I feel like I've watched some stinkers lately, and I had to take a step back from the genre. But I'm back in it, baby. And holy shit, yeah, I'm giving this a 5. I think that structurally, it was really, really cool. I really liked how it played out. It was really great. Like, this movie really had like fleshed out characters too, which was really awesome. You know, we've seen some stuff lately where that's not the case, and I think that this one did a really good job of that. The story was really deep but also really hilarious. I think, like I said earlier, like because it had this tone, this levity, like you can get into some like scary topics, but you're not just feeling like shit at the end of it, like I felt with Bring Her Back. I will keep bringing that back up, but like those two, I feel like, you know, there could be a really good conversation comparing and contrasting the two. They're very different movies, but there is some shared stuff going on there. And it's just a different way of going about filmmaking. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just how it hits for me. But yeah, I just thought that this was fucking brilliant. It was so fun. And I'm just so excited to have this like new, very fun, very costumable character here. Like, I love Gladys so much. She is a fucked up bitch, but like iconic. I love that how silly she was, how clown like she was, like literally with these like lapel pins of the flower that's literally like a clown. And so it's like it's bringing Pennywise, it's bringing, what is it? What's the serial killer who dressed up as a clown?
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy. That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Yeah. Like bringing up those types of vibes. And I don't know. I just thought it was a really well put together film. And I'm super stoked that we got something like this year, and it was cool to have it really like take me by surprise because I was a dumb bitch and I didn't know that this was another Cregger joint. Sorry to steal what Osgood calls his movies, but that's the movie we were gonna do. By the way, we were gonna do the monkey, and I'm really glad we did weapons instead.
Sorry to the monkey. The monkey is fun, but like, is there as much to say about the monkey? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think it's got all the levity of this movie, but it's just that. And then this movie has the levity and it has something deeper to talk about. So anyway.
Yeah. That one would have been also had some good through lines from Oddity. It's got twins and such as well.
Oh yeah.
But I think this was the right call. And I don't know. I think it's been a long time since I have been watching a horror movie in the theater and have like been hiding and like cringing and feeling affected. I think this is a great movie to see in theaters in a crowd. And I think that's just like a really fun aspect of it. I'm sure it's fun at home as well because I also really, really like the way that the narrative is constructed and the way that it allows every person to feel like a full, breathable, real person as opposed to a plot device of a character. It really lets them all have their shine in their own way. But there's so many good like violence and horror moments. Like I think it is like perfect art, the scene of Alex's mom coming out of the house and then getting into the back of it's so scary. It's so well done. When Justina is being choked out by Paul and she grabs the vegetable peeler and peels his face.
We didn't even talk about that.
I know.
I
was like, I have to mention it because it is like so viscerally upsetting.
So bad.
There's just like so many good small details like that. James's character going around and like pulling on all of the doors until he finds the little girl's backpack with like the little baby girl iPad in it. Like there's just it's so rich with details.
Yeah.
And so that really feels so lovely. I'm so glad that they had the budget to do whatever they wanted with this kind of thing because you can imagine if it is more independent film that they're just not really able to like paint it out as much. But I thought it was really great. So I guess I don't know. I have no reason to not give it a 5. I'm also like, are we giving lots of 5s lately? But
what did we give a 5 to? Oddity? Did we give Strange Darling a 5? No.
No.
And
Strange Darling.
So it's fine.
Yeah, Strange Darling, but I liked that movie. But then by the end of the conversation, for some reason, I was feeling like a little lower than I had gone into it, maybe.
No,
and this one I'm like feeling a little energized by. So she can have a 5.
There's just so many good details. It was a really fun one to research too. It's cool to get into Cregger's head and to see these like dark places that the movie came from that are so personal to him. And yeah, like the alcoholism thing with like Gladys as an allegory for that. I thought that was like really powerful and well done.
I'm also just like enjoying thinking about the implications of things. Like, why are they seeing like glimpses of the witch throughout? And like, to a degree, it's because there's this magic happening in the town. And also to a degree, it's probably because like this crazy lady out and about to some measure, she's going to the police station, she's going to the school. You know what I mean? Like, that's a memorable thing to stick with you, even if you're not really noticing it and filing it away. And that's going to come up in your subconscious later.
Yeah. Even if you're not interacting with her, just like Marcus's
it's going to
assistant,
tingle something in the back of your brain.
She's like, there's something wrong with this woman. There's definitely
something really funky
wrong.
is going on.
And it's not just that she wears clashing colors. It goes deeper. But yeah, I'm super stoked that we did this movie, and I'm really glad that our listeners chose this one. But that's another reason why I'm glad we're doing what we're doing for our 250th. It's a twofer. It's a 249 250 extravaganza. It's many people do that. It's a popular way to celebrate. A 2-episode special, if you will. But I feel like once I saw that Weapons won, and I even sent a very incoherent voice note to the group chat about this, I feel like Weapons, once seeing it, we all would have decided to do this movie no matter what. And the other movie that came in second place for our poll is a movie that maybe we wouldn't have done.
We've thought about,
which is interesting because
talked about doing it though.
It has come
We've
up a
talked
lot
about
as an
it.
option this summer.
Yeah, because I want to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. But I introduced Weapons, so I can't introduce this one. So somebody else jump in.
I'll do it, even though I haven't seen it.
Neither have I. None of us have.
For our 250th episode, brought to you by our lovely patrons, we are doing. It's a Shudder movie, right?
Shudder original. Yeah,
Shudder original. It's called Ugly Stepsister, and I think it's French.
The Ugly Stepsister. Yeah, I think it's French. It's a satirical black comedy body horror film, and that's all I know. Based on the story of Cinderella.
So
I am so hyped for this movie, and everyone I know who has seen it has said that it's really stuck out to them. And you know I fucking love when Europeans do horror. They got something freaky out there, and I like it. So I am very, 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 very excited for this one. And we haven't done a foreign film in a second. That's not true. We did a foreign film last week.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's
we did a foreign
explicitly
film
why
last
we were
week.
like, we can't do this next, but we'll put it on our patron poll.
Well, that's not why I said that. It was because it was like another
film.
Independent, small.
Oh, it's Norwegian. It's Norwegian. In case you want to know,
not French.
It's the Norwegian. It's a co-production between Norway, Poland, Sweden, and Denmark.
Okay.
Whoa.
Crazy. It premiered at Sundance also, so that's fun. But yeah, the reason I thought that we couldn't do it back to back because it was two like underrated, basically straight to Shudder releases in a row. So that's why I was saying that I could do all foreign films, and then not that as many people would listen, but they would learn. They would learn today.
Also, I scrolled on IMDb and I don't think I saw anything spoilery, but I did see that the first piece of trivia is that there's an end credit scene at the very end of the credits for next week. So make sure that you stick around.
Okay, good to know.
Thank you. That's good to know. But yeah, thank you guys so much, by the way, for being around with us for 250 fucking episodes, or 249, excuse me. That's the real milestone here. We love you so much, and it's really cool to have been doing this for fucking 5 years. And the community that we've built is something that I think I can speak for the pod and say that we're all really proud of. And yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool milestone. That's a lot of hours. DM us if you've listened to all of them. 249 episodes worth, and a lot of those episodes are over 2 hours long. So
one of them's like 3 hours.
I know, the Don't Burn episode. And bitches loved that. Don't know what's up with that, you guys. I don't understand how our voices are soothing to you, but I'm glad.
One of our patrons listens to our episodes when going to sleep. I'm always like,
I know.
I give you crazy dreams.
How often do I screech? Seriously.
I'm leaning over you right now. If you're sleeping while listening to this, I'm in your dreams.
Dun, dun, dun. Monica's the scary redheaded witch.
Gladys is here. Now. She's on the ceiling.
But anyway, it is our beautiful 249th anniversary, and so that's a great thing to write into, not anniversary, episode, to write into a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Say, happy 249th. What an amazing accomplishment. 249. That is a number that everyone thinks is an important one. And so thank you for getting there. And we'll appreciate you so much for that. But we'll also just take a 5-star rating on Spotify. That works as well if you're feeling a little shy. And also, why not follow us on social media? We're at Spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we are at Spooky Tuesday Pod. We also have a website, www.spookytuesdaypod.com, for all the info that you could ever want to know about us. Info about every single one of those 249 episodes, plus the 2 bonus episodes. So think about that. check that out. And also, people have recently found out that you can submit email things to our website through there. Did you notice that on the email? Got our very first
Miranda figured that out a long
submission.
time ago. Miranda was
Oh,
the first
that's
person to
true.
ever figure
Miranda,
that out.
we haven't gotten one since Miranda. People just get our email somehow, somewhere else, and email us that way. But we got some submissions this week, so if you're looking to submit,
Email us.
you should go to the submission page. It's very interesting. And then also we're on YouTube. And God, do we look gorgeous today? Not me. Chelsea woke up like this and she looks so beautiful. Sydney is wearing her Josh Brolin inspired vintage Carhartt vest. That is very sexy. And I look scarier than I've looked in a long time as Gladys. Yeah. The
It's
wig
really growing on me.
Honestly, halfway through, I was like, do I look cunty right now?
It's kind
And
of
then you
there.
take off the glasses and you look at my makeup and you're like, no.
No,
I did the
think it's
orange
extra cunty.
eyebrows.
I love the orange eyebrows.
Messed up my lipstick and the makeup. And you can see my wig cap through if you're looking really
Can you
close.
pull since the end of the episode, can you pull it back so just the tip of the bang is right at the tip?
Yeah. Oh, God. Hold on.
I love it.
It's perfect.
It's so horrific. Look at my beautiful big forehead. Anyway, you can only see that if you subscribe to our YouTube. So do it. You'll enjoy it. It's beautiful. We make funny faces. And there's visual gags sometimes. Okay. But anyway, once again, thank you guys so much for listening for so fucking long. 249 times, maybe even. And we will see you next Tuesday for the 250th, which is less important.
Bye, Spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.